Can we not do
Let's
this
see
tonight?
what stories we have
He
today.
asked quietly.
This
There was
one
an
looks
awkward
perfect for our hub.
pause. Dad, his oldest sighed. We're just being practical. Practical. Before the cake was even cut, they were debating percentages. Voices rose. Numbers were mentioned. The farmhouse itself became a topic of division. David stood up slowly. Thank you for coming, he said. I think that's enough for tonight. They left confused, slightly annoyed, assuming he was overreacting. But that night, alone in his study, David opened his safe. Inside was the original will. He stared at it for a long time. Then he picked up the phone and called his attorney. 1 week later, his children were summoned to the lawyer's office. They arrived confident, almost relaxed. This was probably just paperwork. The attorney adjusted his glasses and began reading. Mr. David Marshall has revised his estate plan. 3 sets of eyes focused sharply. 80% of his $20 million estate will be donated to the Marshall Children's Medical Foundation, effective immediately upon his passing. Silence. I'm sorry, what? His daughter whispered. The attorney continued calmly. The remaining 20% will be placed into a conditional trust. The beneficiaries, his 3 children, must complete 500 hours of verified volunteer work at the foundation and live together in the original family home for 1 continuous year without access to company funds. That's insane, the youngest snapped. There's more, the attorney said, sliding a letter across the desk. Your father asked that this be read aloud. He opened the envelope. My dear children, I spent my life building something valuable. I thought it was the company. I was wrong. The most valuable thing I ever had was our family sitting around one table, laughing without checking the time or the stock market. If money is all you see when you look at me, then I have failed you. This estate will not reward entitlement. It will reward unity, service, and character. If you want what I built, first learn why I built it. With love, Dad. No one spoke for several seconds. For the first time, the number 20 million didn't feel like a victory. The first weeks in the old farmhouse were rough. They argued about chores, about schedules, about who was sacrificing more. Volunteering at the children's hospital wasn't glamorous. It meant cleaning rooms, reading to sick kids, sitting with families in waiting areas. But something started to change. Their oldest brother, who once obsessed over quarterly profits, found himself helping a little boy build a model airplane. Their sister, who managed luxury brand campaigns, spent hours comforting a mother whose child was in surgery. The youngest, always chasing fast investments, started organizing charity events to raise additional funds. For the first time in years, they had dinner together without talking about money. They talked about patience, about memories of their mother, about how distant they had become. David visited quietly one afternoon. He didn't announce himself. He watched through the hospital corridor window as his children laughed with a group of kids decorating cupcakes. They looked different, lighter, human. A year later, the conditions of the trust were fulfilled. But by then, something surprising had happened. They no longer cared as much about the money. The company was restructured to include charitable projects. The foundation grew beyond what David had imagined. And Sunday dinners returned to the farmhouse porch. On David's next birthday, there were no conversations about percentages. Just stories, laughter, and a cake baked from Eleanor's old recipe. The night his special moment was ruined felt like the worst day of his life. But his $20 million decision didn't just change.